This is a meeting with Ohmar. I'm going to talk about him instead of to him first. I think he's okay with that, although he seems to monitor closely what I say, which is fine. He's setting Oh, isn't that interesting? He's setting boundaries too. We're going to have a whole conversation about boundaries because we all need boundaries and we all need those boundaries to be respected. I'm going to say I love that. I do and I don't. But anyway, the thing about feeling watched in this way, and the word bully came up earlier for me towards him because, yeah, let me take some notes because that's part of what it means to be a bully in a different way. We could call it something else. He's bringing up manipulative. That's fine. However, here's the thing. And I am feeling very aware of relationship dynamics because I've had to work through a lot of my own shit to have better relationships. And I'm also super good at being resentful and not letting things go easily when I feel like other people have really run over my boundaries in this way and or I didn't set good boundaries and then I just am resentful instead of taking my power back kind of thing. And so anyway, and it occurred to me earlier that, yeah, so I have so many notes. Anyway, excuse me for ripping. Okay. That in reestablishing a new relationship and Ohmar and Scott for whatever they want together. And it seemed from an email that I saw about Scott that he would be excited at the concept of being able to have better relationships with everybody who's around him. So let's talk about this, okay, Ohmar? Actually, I don't know that you want to talk. I should ask you first. Sorry. Let's have good boundaries together because we want part of that is so on my list of new things is upgraded ways to communicate rather than overpowering with electronics. And that includes me because you're doing that. Having new relationship goals that include mutual support, clean and authentic communication. So this is what I wrote down a little bit earlier that was just coming to me. So not from Ohmar. Clean and authentic communication. Everybody gets their own needs met, and love, support, and respect are foundational to the relationship. And it will also include apologizing. All kinds of stuff that I have done hundreds of times in my marriage, which has been one of my biggest relationship lessons. And yeah, and I guess if I'm owning it, there are plenty of times when I would run over or overpower in some ways my husband to closest person to me to get what I want and need and not really think about him so much in that kind of way. So I'm not going to pretend I'm above doing that at all because I'm really not. But I also know how much I can resent it when other people do that to me. We all have to own our part. But if we're looking to start fresh, then we need to start fresh and then have a new understanding and then do our best. So, Ohmar, just want to check in with you about this. So, I'm assuming you want to have this meeting now. Yeah, I was going to meet with a friend maybe an hour and a half ago or so, and the Zoom thing was just not working out between us, which is suspicious. And anyway, so I just now have learned to know you as when things are going funky with my electronics, that it's likely your presence. Okay, and why do you interact in that kind of way? It just shows up. When you say that, do you mean that the way your energy works, like a lot electronics just do like weird stuff? Are you doing it on purpose? Not really. Okay, so what kind of stuff do you do on purpose with electronics? You turn off computers. Oh, yikes. You do that to Scott? Yeah, a lot. Okay. And under what circumstances do you do that to Scott? When he's bothered by his computer. Sorry, when Scott's bothered, I'm getting a yeah, but also me, he's saying, okay, that's honest. Thank you for sharing that. And when you say bothered, he's saying agitated. Now, Scott mentioned that if it seems like he's on his computer, like playing computer games for too long, that you somehow interfere, turn it off. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. So it sounds to me like that seems very parental, big brotherly. Yeah, I see the word guardian. Okay. So when you do that to Scott, is that pretty much why? So I'm getting the word supervision, supervision of his learning parameters. Yeah, it so Omar is saying about Scott, like he could do nothing but play video games all days, most days, and that's a waste of his life. A waste of life. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Okay. So he means it lovingly. That's what he's saying. Okay. What other kinds of electronic interference do you do deliberately? Just as I'm saying that, I feel like I'm supposed to ask you a different kind of question. Is that okay? So it sounds like you can make up your mind, like, oh, I need to turn off Scott's computer, and then you can turn it off. Is that how it is that right? Is that right? All right. I'm getting a yes, but then I'm getting more or less. That doesn't always work that way, but he sure tries. Okay. Okay. So it's not just your energy affects electronics without you trying, or that's part of it too. Okay. Okay. Anything else that might be helpful for Scott to hear from you about your interfering with his electronics? He knows it very well, but just is there any other meaning behind it that you want to share while we're here talking about this? Yes. Lovingly task manager. That's how you're referring to yourself. Okay. Loving task manager. Thank you. Okay. Loving task manager. I'm writing that down. That's actually quite a title you've given yourself there, Omar. I get that you mean it. I do. I'm trying to keep it a little light here, dude. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. And look, I noticed that you were doing that since that first time Scott was here. I don't remember you doing it before Scott was here, although I did feel you coming here. Like I could feel you here. But when he was here and you were interfering with us being able to record, even though I don't think you did, because it looked later like it did record, but an error message came up. So you're protecting Scott's privacy. And we talked about that because that seemed pretty clear. And then it seemed like eventually you were convinced without a shadow of a doubt. So do you need it to be without a shadow of a doubt? Yeah, he's commenting about having black and white thinking. That's very clear. Thank you. Okay, got it. Okay. And then you crashed a group I had with friends 2 nights ago. And it felt to me like and I didn't do it deliberately, but I don't mind you calling me out on stuff, honestly. Like I may have been giving myself too much credit for like having negotiated something with somebody in a session with her past self. And when I talked about that, you kept muting my microphone. Was that because you felt like I was maybe being egoic about how I was saying that? Yeah. Okay. He's saying that he's saying to me, you didn't negotiate new lines of communication. You helped with the foundation of the relationship being cooperative. I'm seeing a few CO words like communication and cooperative. Cooperative. Okay. Are you saying anything about the communication? I did clarify. I tried to help clarify. No, that did look, and I intuited the questions. I'm not trying to give myself too much credit, honestly, but I get how it was coming across the other day. So is that something that you are trying to keep an eye on too? Oh, he's the integrity manager. You know what? When I first started, you may already know this, Omar. Do you already know this, what I'm going to say? Oh, I'm going to share it with Scott or whoever else is watching. That when I first started teaching my mediumship class online a couple years ago, I was nervous because I think I had a co-facilitator. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. I think it was that very first class. And anyway, I have a really close friend who, man, when something feels a little bit off, she like sniffs it out right away and she's, wait, hold on here. And she'll say something and it's just very natural for her. And maybe a little more than I bargained for at times because it threw me when I wasn't expecting it. But I asked her to be the integrity monitor. I did. That was like her job in the class. And it was helpful. I, it was helpful. Yeah. So that's what it sounds like. You like manager better. I get that about you, Omar. And look, I really want to encourage all of us, you and for me, that we all be able to laugh at ourselves because, sorry, buddy, but we're all a bit ridiculous and we're all doing our best. And I feel, and he's saying congratulations for a great stride in giving us more credit. Us, bad spirits. You're talking about your reputation as a bad spirit. Do you see yourself as a bad spirit? No, as a helper. Okay, I get that. This is right to talk about now. Okay. So look, it feels to me like there's this huge discrepancy, but I don't know all the history. So pardon my lack of knowledge and ignorance, okay? Can you pardon my lack of knowledge and ignorance? Yes, sure. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I hear you about being the loving task manager for Scott. And from some of these things that he's shared about and that you're corroborating, I get that. But there's this thing about the presentation. I don't know, again, I don't know the whole history, and it's some of it's just really none of my business at all. But why? I don't know if this is even the right question, so guide me, please. But like, why would you come across as like this scary being to somebody that you really love? Intimacy. Okay. What about intimacy? Intimacy based in fear is still intimacy? Okay. So you really believe that is the case. Okay. So I'm going to be a bit of a therapist right now. Is that okay? So intimacy based in fear is the foundation of an abusive relationship. Okay. He says, I know better now. Okay. I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to tiptoe around you. I feel like my intentions are about as clean as they can be to communicate. So I want to have the confidence that you will take what I say from that place, from that understanding between us. Is that okay? Okay. Because I want to trust you at your word the way I want you to trust me at my word. And I think there's so much good that can come out of this communication. And I want that for you. And I especially want it for Scott because he's been through a lot with all of this. And I know it's been really hard and it continues to be really hard for him. And I feel for him. And I think you really do in that way too. Yeah. I know that you love him. I get that you love him. Yeah. And look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but seeing yourself as a loving task manager sounds a bit harsh. Like you don't trust Scott to manage himself, so you have to do it. And look, just like with me, there's that sort of bully energy of you know what's best and you're just going to take over, just like muting my microphone, turning off my camera all the time, like you did on Saturday. You were just doing that to get my attention, I believe, but it's dominating, right? Yeah. And I really don't like that, to be really frank about it. I don't think you might like that either. Excuse me, if I was doing that to you. Like, I'm not trying to squeeze you into a box of you should be this fucking saint, angelic being towards Scott and anybody else. Yeah. And he's using the word authentic. Do you feel like I'm encouraging you to be authentic? He's saying, sorry, can you say it again? And I feel like I lost it there. Okay. Oh, he's saying to me, you can be more authentic with me than I can be with you because I share my dark side with Scott and you protect others from yours. Am I getting that right? Oh my. You got me. I know. I have terrible thoughts all the time, every fucking day. I hate it, actually. Morbid thoughts about people that I really love, and it makes me feel like such an asshole that I think those things. Because, yeah, whereas talking about himself, I'm okay. That's cute. He's okay with him having those thoughts. And I should look on the other side of that because there's freedom in expressing my own negative beliefs and thoughts and even secret desires, even if I never want them to happen. Yeah. And some of that I really do express, but yeah, you're right. And I've had a lot more of that lately, and I don't want to be influenced in that way. And I'm not trying to blame you for that or say that. Okay. Yes, I get. So he's saying that he's sharing his negative energy. Am I getting that right? Okay. So can I ask you to please stop doing that? I'm getting a yes. Sorry. I'm asking you to stop that, but will you please stop that as of like right now? Please. For you, Noelle, anytime you please, I will come back with it. Okay. Thank you for the offer. I don't know that I will ever take you up on that. And if I do, I think you should question me because that's really not what I want. Can you get that about me? Okay. And look, I want a mutually supportive relationship with you as well as I want to support you to have that with Scott. So that's part of our mutual respect is that we think about the other person and what they might actually want based on what the kind of stuff they say, not making a lot of assumptions and not using our own like value system so much. Can you agree? Do you agree with that, first of all? Yes. He's saying, I agree wholeheartedly. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So can that be part of the foundation of our relationship? And we will work with Scott to see what he needs from you. Yeah. And I'm getting yes. And I hope you feel like, because I'm sure you're watching over my interactions with Scott, and I hope you feel like I am giving him, yeah, he's saying utmost respect. Yeah. Yeah. Scott and integrity. Thank you. Thank you. And Scott really needs to find a new way to embrace a sense of agency over himself. That includes being able to set boundaries with you that you will respect because you love him, because you care about him, and because you respect him. He's saying, I get it. Okay. And I'm sorry, I may repeat myself a bunch of times because I might have forgotten that I said it or said it that way. So please forgive me if I do that. I won't probably be doing it deliberately, just to let you know. Okay. Oh, he said grace given. Thank you. All right. Okay. So can we come up with a different label other than loving task manager? I will take that. Loving suggestion maker. Ah, and thank you. One of the things I think we have to work on with you and Scott is how you communicate. So like instead of turning off his computer, maybe finding a gentle way, a soft, gentle way to communicate to him, like, hey, buddy, I think you've been on your computer too long. Do you think you would be amenable to that kind of thing? I suppose, he says. Okay, fair enough. And we're not talking to Scott right now. So, you have some time, I think, to be with that. But I would really encourage you that it might be really helpful since you know both of you so well that you come up with maybe some of those ways you think would actually work for both of you. Would that be fair? He says it's okay. Do you mean like, "Ugh, it's okay? Or do you mean, oh, it's okay? The first one with snark. Totally got it. Okay. Now, it seemed like you really wanted to talk. So thank you for starting out with this stuff with me. I appreciate that. And I really do want to hear what you have to say. He's saying, I want a sense of belonging with Scott and his family. I don't want to be an outcast. Okay. There's a shadow side to all others, including and not except, like and not with the exception of me. Gotcha. And he's saying, I want to tell the world about me and my people. We're not all bad souls. We have bad reputations for being such, like oogie boogie boogeymen. But we're not all that way at the heart of the matter. Okay. And he's saying there were contracts made from previous life existences that supported and created personal growth for the people who were on the earth that we've contacted. Contacted or contracted? Contracted? Contacted? Okay. Contacted with. Okay. And are connected with. Yeah. So this is part of that, like between lives meeting where this kind of thing was brought up. Okay. And now, thank you. I'm being reminded that I was mentioning in my other meeting about this woman's past self coming through to talk to her to say, and she said mm, why she was like sabotaging things. That might be a fair way to say it. And you flickered like my friend's lights. Like that seemed to be like a big point to you. And it felt important to come back and ask you about that. Is there something you can say about that? So I'm seeing nuclear family, nuclear blow up, nuclear love match, nuclear phase of everything but family coming through greatly, combined to make personal relationships and growth even possible. I'm not really sure exactly what all that means. I'm not stupid. There's the snark. Thank you. He apologized for that. Thanks. I'm a little slow. I don't think I'm stupid, but I'm a little slow. And at times you can make fun of me for that. But I'm really trying to understand. So if you could say it a little bit clearer, I think that would be helpful. Would you mind? Okay. He's saying, no, I'm telling you, I'm trying my best. Totally get it. Take your time. We're all friends here. Is your goal to be friends? Frenemies? Okay. Phew. I made that up. I didn't mean to, but I think my fear and thank you. There is something it feels like about for me and my self-concept, or let's say sometimes poor self-esteem, where I assume that people won't like me. It's really easy for me to project that onto somebody like Omar. And I have to be cognizant of not doing that. And that feels like this is part of, oh, getting some chills on that. Is there anything else you want to say about that now? He's talking about waves of discovery. I feel like you're saying the thought had just come to me about we're going to have a lot of conversation, so there's a lot that we can dissect. So, yeah, that's what you're meaning. Okay. But he's saying that's part of my low vibration is my no negative self-esteem. So I attract self-talk. I attract negative self-talk. Okay. Negative self-talk items to reinforce positively or negatively what I already believe about myself. Gotcha. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And somebody was giving me that kind of insight the other day. Like it's the negativity in me and the low vibration that I've had at times and sometimes for decades that have attracted many or most of the experiences that I've had with other people, including those who, and something came up in a different conversation about negative, the idea of like entities or negative entities like feasting on in a predatory kind of way. People who are like prey to that, like Prey. Is there anything you can say, like to comment on that? You talking about yourself? He's saying about himself. I used to be more like that. Yeah. Gotcha. Why were you that way? Bad experiences with people? People, he's saying people gave me shittiness to deal and cope with. And then I started giving it back. Huh. Do you mean you as an energy body? Have you been incarnated as like a person on, have you been incarnated as a person on Earth before, ever? Many times. Okay. Many several times? Okay. I'm seeing two numbers, 49 and 26. So 49 times, 26 times. Okay. Okay. Do you think you're going to ever reincarnate? Infinity's a long time, so maybe I shouldn't ask you that question. So, are you talking about bad experiences you've had collectively, cumulatively? Okay. Excuse. Some people think that when you're crossed over, would you be considered crossed over? Getting a yes. Some people believe that when you're, now you're giving me some chills on this. Is that because I'm on? Yeah, some people believe that when you're crossed over, that you're only light and love. He says that's some bullshit. Okay. That's been my impression too. I don't think I'm making stuff up. I'm not trying to make anything up. But if I can just be honest about it, it seems to me that quite a few of the souls that I've connected with, and not like I've connected with whoever, however many I have connected with, there are times when it has really seemed like they could really use somebody to talk to. He says, you're damn right. Now, is it because, can we use you as an example? Is that okay? So, is that because you're not getting the support from like guides and other spiritual beings? If you could you get more support than you are getting from other spiritual beings? Now, why do you say no? I don't like it, he says. Okay. He says they're condescending. Really? Huh? Okay. He's saying that's about himself. That's my problem. I perceive it as condescending. Totally get that. Yeah, that feels very authentic for you to say that. And because from what I've read, and I haven't I don't want to say I haven't been there. I don't remember anything about being there, but it seems like there's no hierarchy, no judgment. Apparently, that's some bullshit too, or maybe it just seems that way. But yeah, there's a defensiveness that sorry, but you're like hanging on to about that. It would be nice to delve deeper. Yeah. Okay. And he's talking about delving deeper into his own sadness. And he says, I had a baby like Scott once, and he was ruined by bad people, and I've never let it go. Oh, I really feel that. And I really feel for you. Oh, I'm really sorry, Omar. Now he's telling me I'm spelling his name wrong. Okay. OHM. Am I getting that right? Correct me however you want to. It's good. I want to be on the same page here. So, what did they do to your son? Taught him mean lessons? Were true about himself? Like he wasn't worth a piece of paper, or he was worthless as shit. Oh, he had a deformity, one of his legs. Are you trying to give me like a year, an Earth year of when that was? 1216? 1216 AD? Gotcha. Yeah, okay. That feels right. You can back it up later if you want, but I keep getting S's. Okay. Yeah, I get how I'm getting the sense from you of that was intensely painful. He's saying to watch my son, like beloved brother, son, cousin, everything all good for the future. And he was wrecked emotionally by disappearing self-esteem, and that he was taunted by negative spirit people, negative people with their own motives to feel good or better about themselves, excuse me, like in spite of or in the face of somebody with some physical deformity. Is there anything else you want to say about that? So help me understand this for a moment, because it was my impression from this book, Journey of Souls, that I read, that when people are born with a physical deformity, if that's what we're calling it, that they chose that because it is teaching them some kind of lesson. So it was like on purpose. Not longer, no longer. You're saying you no longer believe that? He's saying, I think it's an excuse to torture people emotionally. Really? Oh. Just as you say that, it occurs to me, have you talked to a guide about that? Fuck them. Oh, okay. Look, you're pissed. I hear that. I feel strongly that we want to keep the tone of our conversation like pretty light. Not that I'm not willing to talk about it in a deeper way, but I feel like I want to keep it more balanced. I want to keep it balanced. I feel like we're still balanced, but I want to keep it balanced. Is that okay? So you've lost trust with the system, is what it sounds like. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Ooh, big swirly chills in my legs. Okay. So is this you giving me confirmation chills about that? Yeah. Wow. lost faith in the system of all humankind. Like people are shitty for no good reason. Wow. Okay. Let me just write that down. So why not join them? Say it with love, it sounds quite hypocritical to join the thing that you hated. If you haven't healed that part of you, I get it. It would probably feel more powerful than staying in a victimhood mindset. And question, have you talked to your son or who was your son in that life? Did you ever talk to him post the life that you shared to see what his perspective was? Because you might not have shared the same viewpoint. So, sorry, I kept talking. So, did you connect with your son after that life? A little bit. And he's saying, I felt sorry for him. I couldn't face the shame I felt of not protecting him as his dad. Oh, yeah. Is Scott that reincarnated boy? Now, is that a version of you? Like the chills you gave me about that woman connecting with this previous version of herself, past life incarnations. Okay. But not the same soul. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Scott was this son in a previous life or a piece of that soul? Look, it sounds confusing to love someone that much and do things that end up really scaring them. So, how did that make sense? Like you're different. So, it sounds what I'm getting now is him saying, and this is directed at Scott when Scott was a kid, you're different. So, you stay inside. People will leave you alone when you're isolated. Scott's different in a cool way, though, don't you think? I get he would have been made fun of as a kid. That's what he's saying. He would have been made, of course. If Scott is this amazing psychic, let's say, or medium, and he's seeing everybody's dead great grandparents following them around in school, he definitely would have faced a lot of, yeah, he's saying like humiliation, criticism, and ostracism, of course. So, how you saw it is that this was your way of keeping him safe. Wow. How do you think Scott's going to hear this? With love? It's based in love, I get that, but it's still, it doesn't, I don't know that it feels like love. Maybe at times it has felt like love. Oh, he's saying, I don't care. That's what I meant. Okay, I gotcha. Okay. So now, current day, like Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 2:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. How do you think it comes across to Scott now? Garbage, deliberately shitty, dumped upon him, no choices, self-centered dad, living through his own emotions. And then in big letters, he's showing negative. Yeah. And now he's saying, like, when you circle back around, things differently. Yeah. And I'm really not trying to shame you. Oh my God, look what you did. Although I could feel that coming too. So sorry about that. Yeah. You're a very powerful man being. So maybe what feels like a little something nudge in one direction might come across to a sensitive like Scott as a huge push. Would you agree with that statement? Yeah. He says a nudge is a push or a shove to Scott. Totally get that. Yeah, it's amazing to me that Scott can see and experience all the things that he does. How, in your opinion, how much of that is his brain chemistry? All of it? He's built like a computer. He's built a certain to do certain things. Okay. One way a computer can be built for logic examples. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. For logic examples are math equations. Yeah. Synchronicity, finding meaning in dark corners. You're saying a computer is built for these things? People like a computer. I think your computer analogy is throwing me a little bit, but I'm going to work with it because you like it. He's making a joke that I'm a good egg. Anyway, okay. Or not about making a joke, but it was a little condescending, maybe. All right. So this is all making a little more sense, maybe a lot more sense to me right now. And would it be fair to say that at this point in time, in general, whether you experience time or not, in the time that we're in right now, linear time, that it has become the time to make some changes with Scott? And you're saying you're all on board with that. Okay. Do we want to have maybe a few more relationship conversations before we meet with Scott? Yeah. He's Omar is saying that he wants to set up some boundaries within himself to better understand what Scott needs. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. So I'm starting to feel a little complete for now. Do you feel complete for now? Sorry, he's thanking me for feeling that this is important. It, yeah. Now that I like know what I know, that I can't unknow about you being like a real being, like a sentient being or whatever, I'm not going to turn my back on you. I don't want you to stab me in the back or fuck me over in some kind of way, but yeah, I do want to make friends with you. I kind of want to do that now with everybody, as long as we can agree on mutual respect and a foundation of that and love and honoring each other. Yeah, it's helping me grow too, as a person and certainly as a medium and as a helper. And I really want to help people. I think we all kind of torture ourselves in a lot of ways. And maybe it's just really starting to like, yeah, he's saying grow ugly and tired. Yeah, it's time for a shift. And I think we all need to work together on this. I do. I think you do too. Yeah. And he's saying he's making the effort. And I get that. I really get that. And I admire that in you. And there's a lot of authenticity that you shared today with me/us. Are you okay with me posting this on YouTube? Are you okay with me posting this on YouTube? Okay. Yes, unedited. Scott's giving me permission to post whatever's coming up. I'm sure you were you are you here and over there with him? Okay. So you are hearing his thoughts. Does that feel right? He's not giving me blanket permission. I didn't really ask him for blanket permission in that kind of way. Yeah, he is okay with it. And if I sensed he wouldn't be, I wouldn't do it. I'm not trying to hurt Scott at all, any more than you are. You loving suggestion maker, you. Okay. He's saying that he is keen to share with Scott. Okay. I will send this video over right now then when it's ready. Okay. Yeah. He's saying thank you. Yeah, you're very welcome. And thank you for meeting with me and giving me this chance to explore this together. Yeah, I think we could hopefully together help a lot of people. And that'd be great. Okay. All right, Omar, till next time, which might be in 5 minutes, but that's okay. Thank you for watching.